Hi everyone, my name is Eva. I'm 19 and I'm first year medical student. And over the next few minutes, I will tell you how I learned not to be afraid of my mistakes. Before I came here, I was in high school in Skopje. Like many of your students, I also had favorite and not so favorite subjects, interests and curiosities. But I also had insecurities, doubts, fears. If I'm here today, starting on this new journey as a future doctor, it's only because I've learned that if I'm afraid, I cannot help anyone. I have to let go of my fears first. Like many of your students, I used to be afraid to speak up, to share my opinions, my thoughts. I used to be afraid that people with important jobs and big titles would not care for what I had to say. I used to be afraid of disappointment, of needing help and not being able to find it. I'm sure some of your students are feeling this too. If you don't believe me, just ask them. Fortunately, I met someone who was always there for me, who stood by me as I tried and failed. Someone who showed me different avenues that I could follow. This person was teacher Tanya, and here are the 6 lessons I've learned from teacher Tanya's social entrepreneurship class. So the first lesson is about listening. In social entrepreneurship class, we worked only in projects. We were always trying to find solutions to the problem in our society, big or small. The only way we could do that was if we went outside the classroom, talk to people and see what problems were upsetting them. That's how we decided that our city, Skopje, needed a new system to recycle plastic bottles. We worked on this project for 2 years, raising money for a machine that can take plastic bottles in and give a voucher in exchange. That's how people who didn't have a job could have access to different products and different services in our town in exchange for their work cleaning up the city. So it's always important to just listen to people. Just to listen the city around us. So if you see someone who has a problem, you should just ask them how they feel and how you can help them. And then just listen. Lesson number 2 is about speaking. Sometimes it was Sidi's turn to listen to me. I and my teammate Stefan, we pitched our project to local companies, shops, supermarkets, coffee shops, restaurants, and even the environment ministry. We did lots of elevator speeches, sometimes even in the elevator. I used to be afraid that people with important jobs and big titles would just not listen to what high school students would like to say because we were just high school students. But here was teacher Tanya. She helped me break down my own barrier to who I can talk to. So I spoke. I took small step after small step. And that's how I made myself heard. I learned that at the end of the day, everyone is a person, just like me, just like you. So if you speak without fear, people will definitely understand you much better. The third lesson is about projects. Projects are so much more than just a way to keep students busy. For us, they were the space where our ideas mattered to others. There were no grades in social entrepreneurship class. And that's how we felt free to simply share our ideas, our opinions, and our thoughts without being afraid that we will say the wrong thing or that other students will laugh at us. More importantly, we were sharing ideas about things that really mattered to us. It was not always easy. Maybe sometimes it was easier to just sit there in the corner of the classroom, listen to the others, and simply don't share your ideas. But the fear was worth it because I could see my ideas becoming reality. The project about recycling bottles took us to dozens of meetings with the city council, with local companies, with the environment ministry. We worked hundreds of hours just to have everything done. And that's only because we had a space where we could share our ideas. The time I graduated from high school, the project was not done, but I'm sure that my younger colleagues would continue it. It's also through project work that I learned my fourth lesson, embracing the difference. As part of the social entrepreneurship class, we did lots of projects. We took part in lots of competitions in our country, but we also visited and traveled to another country. Sometimes we did projects together. Sometimes we presented our ideas in front of our new colleagues from another country. And you might think that I'm going to talk about the benefits of all this, but what really I want to say is that not just a few students should have such an opportunity, and not just a few teachers in few subjects should have this kind of projects. We need many and different projects to choose from in all subjects, because we, as students, we are different. We have different interests and different curiosities. And it means that we need diversity to choose from. We need different projects. For true diversity of thoughts, we need to have diversity to choose from. My fifth lesson is about being resilient. Some people will say no to your project, but some people will definitely say yes. The no you hear is not a rejection to you personally. You can try and present your idea better in order to convince the same person, or maybe you can try and present your idea to other people. Either way, you can do something. With our project for recycling bottles, we participated in lots of competitions. But guess what? We didn't win. But that was okay, because what really mattered to us is that we learned through this process. We learned lots of things, and that's what really matters. We will win eventually, one day, but the most important thing is that we learn something. If you failed and do nothing, then you have really failed. But if you failed and learned something from your mistake, then you have learned something, just like in life. This brings me to lesson number 6. If you keep learning, you never fail. If you have made a mistake, you can try a second time and a third time. There's so many problems around us in the world. We just cannot afford to stop trying. The link between overcoming fears and helping others is learning to help ourselves. If I cannot help myself, I cannot help anyone. So I learned to let go of my fears first by learning from my mistakes. My dream of becoming a doctor was inspired by one of teacher Tanya's projects. We visited a children's hospital to bring them some joy for New Year's Eve. And then I decided that I want to help people for the rest of my life. I don't know what specialty I'm going to follow, but I do know that I'm really grateful and thankful for everything that I've learned. I've learned to listen, I've learned to speak, I've learned to embrace difference. I learned that I have to learn from my mistakes. I'm really thankful that I met a teacher as teacher Tanya, and that I was part of this kind of educational system. So if you have a student who is afraid to speak up, just be their teacher Tanya. I hope that my experience is useful to all of you. And teachers, stay as amazing as you already are and bring out the beautiful personalities of your students.